we've seen it in the keynote already. This is part of the upcoming experience production agent, some capability of it at least, and we can tell that system that we want to please migrate the weekend trendsetter side to Edge Delivery Services. I'm going to start that off here, and while it's going along, I'm going to quickly go and show that site first, but you get an idea what we're targeting, and then we come back to the actual agent and what it's doing in just a moment. So the trendsetter site here is a pretty simple demo site, a couple of pages, has some blocks, some support pages, and the landing page itself is pretty straightforward, at least. Has some, hero with the CTA, some nice section colors in between, big pictures here, has some cards block or whatever, and another CTA here, some more fancy cards, have some tags on them, things like that. Then we have a dark section with a tab component here, some kind of accordion, FAQ accordion maybe here in that one, and it ends with another CTA section at the bottom. So no complications, no crazy integrations to be done. Pretty straightforward. So hopefully should be easy to do, right? And now, if we come back to our agent, it already started. Like Lars already introduced, it has access to special skills. Well, some of them even are actually the skills that he mentioned from the EDS repository directly to understand EDS. On top of that, there's lots of other skills that we do. And we basically also have workflows and extra tools set up to help it go along in the migration here. And so it's right now trying to analyze the page and identify the visual sections first. So it does some kind of page decomposition into the whole thing. Then it tries to identify the actual blocks that it should use. It matches it against the boilerplate or actually really the block library that's configured for the system, right? So it's going to try to map it to blocks and then come up with a plan to actually import that as an Edge Delivery Services content. I'm going to cut that here short a little bit because otherwise we're going to run out of time. It's going to go on for another couple of minutes. But we can see here it manages to take over the content of the page. It comes up with sections, some section styles here light. It has a cards block, another one for gray. Here's some more fancy cards, all in the semantic content format of Edge Delivery Services. We have the dark style tabs here, and the accordion block down here, and the CTA section. So that is getting us the content. Now the next thing we can do is we can basically instruct it to take over the design as well. So if I go and tell it to import the design, it's going to start with that task now. That's again a workflow where it first starts out taking over the actual outer design system. So it looks at the button colors and the color palettes and the fonts and the section backgrounds. And when it's done with that, in other words, the style CSS, right, of EDS, it's going to try to drill down into the actual blocks and create us customized variants for each one that need to be adapted. It does tell you here the estimate, so it's about 5 to 10 minutes until it really is done. So we, again, can unfortunately not 100% wait for that, but we can see what the end result looks like here. I guess I have to, what's that? Just a sec. I have to zoom out just a little bit, I guess, because it has, so there you go. The system display did change the resolution. So we can see it did a reasonably good job in taking over the button designs and the whole style of the sections. And in the end, it also manages, for the most part, to style the blocks correctly. I'm going to stop it here again. It's going to run for a little while. But the full disclosure here, so for the design, it typically doesn't get it 100%, at least not from the get-go. Even this, what we have here, the content is coming out like this, pretty repeatable, one-to-one every time. The design here needed a couple of extra follow-up prompts, but luckily you can easily do that in the system because you can just continue to prompt it to point out things that still need to be done. And I'm going to give an example of that now. Let me see here. So if you wanted, for example, we can now go and say, well, first of all, should it have made the content mistake? Obviously, we can tell it something to change the content. Let's say I want to change the title to be more sporty. So it's not a fix as such. This would be more an actual improvement of the content. So hopefully it's within a couple of seconds, it should be, yep, there you go. It goes and updates the title for us. And similarly, we can go and directly go and ask it to do a design change. So for example, if I'm not happy with the buttons it created, again, in this case, it actually did a good job in the buttons in the end, but I can now easily go and say, well, okay, I rather want them to be, black with the white text on top, and because it knows about edge delivery and how to do it, it already tells us I'm going to change the style CSS file, and in a couple of seconds, it hopefully has that fixed. This is always, of course, the live coding effect. Let me see. Yep, there you go. It is happening, and it's updating it, right? And as you can see, the whole package includes this. The agent has access to the tools, the working preview in the background, as everything is set up, and and it can just do its work. And I can now, use it to iterate on the system as much as I want to and need to. So overall, again, I have to unfortunately fast forward here because we don't have enough time to wait it out. But this is the result of a couple of extra prompts, probably in total 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes to get to this a point with the system. Still not 100% perfect. You can see we're still missing the little tags around this one, for example. So we could ask it to continue here. But I think that's it's really impressive how quickly you can do something like this in the system now. And then let's go to the next step here. Basically, we want to show that that's not all we can do. Since we have a real coding agent in the background, we can continue and do something more ambitious, right? So let's say we want to use it to create a new landing page to promote a new opening in San Francisco. And I'm going to give it the prompt for that and basically tell it, well, we have some extra text for you here in the weekend content repository file and the weekend image catalog, and we have a briefing in the San Francisco opening briefings here, which are effectively giving it some guidelines and guardrails for the landing page that it should create. So the content repository, adds some branding voice guidelines, some content categories. It also has some testimonials down here that it can use if it thinks it's helpful. We have 6 testimonials in here it can choose from. The weekend image catalog is a effectively free-form list of assets it can use, so it's a pointer to different images, description of the style of the image, and the use, when to use it, the purpose, right? So that it has something to work with, and also not use assets that it shouldn't use in this case. Finally, we can just give it this opening briefing, we called it. Again, some free text form to describe the objective of the landing page we want, the target audience, and these kind of things, right? So, well, it takes all of that and basically creates us a new landing page out of it, using the existing blocks that we have now in this project. Partially the variants of it that it created to be able to do this, and we can see down here, for example, there's a good example. It takes then, let's say, something like those 4 testimonials that were given in the thing to to create that page, right? And then if we preview that, we see here, yeah, so this is not only the content, it's of course now using the new lifted and shifted design of the page throughout and the restyled blocks, so it looks somewhat closer to the original page that we had here, right? So that's great. So it's done even, in a couple of minutes we can go and extend our experience with a new landing page here that is, working with the design we just took over. And then, so that's cool. And finally, coming to the third step then, but what happens if we want to actually include some kind of redesign, or we have in this case, let's say for the landing page, the requirement for marketing to get a new block in there. They can just give us, was hinted at the keynote as well, they can just give us a Figma design, and we can also work with that. So, and that's really working pretty well. We can basically tell the system that we have a Figma frame selected in the Figma desktop in this case, right? And then it should go and create us a new block based on that design. So here in the background, if I go, I have Figma open and the frame selected. The MCP server here is on. It's unfortunately in German, I'm sorry, but you can see it says here, just send it some information via the MCP, so it was our system to take the information over. And yep, it says here too, it is actually busy creating this new block based on the context from Figma. And so, yeah, that's gonna continue here for a moment. If we look at what the previous example here did for that, it's basically created this here subscribe block, which took over the content from Figma. This is the byline that was in there, the title, we have the content here, the stay ahead of that, we have this little sub here, the CTA, and then we also have the image from the original. And it then takes over the design from Figma and creates us a block which looks reasonably close to the original. Again, it's not 100% perfect here. If you look back at the original design, maybe it does. It could also be because it's shrunken a little bit. But basically, it is able to take over the design pretty well in a lot of cases for Figma. And obviously, we now could continue to prompt it to make changes or to improve it. We saw in the keynote too, it's pretty easy to say, well, swap the image, for example, to the other side. It will also do all of these things for us if we want to. And finally, of course, that's a great thing. Now we could go and create a new landing page using that block as part of the generation, just like we did the previous one, right? Because that was only using the blocks that were available, so we could just ask it to do that again. Or we could ask it to go back and put that block into different places where it thinks it makes sense. So this is really, really powerful and works really nice. And we're very, very excited that this is working. And then what's left is we basically need to get this out because all of this is running in the sandboxed environment. So none of the code nor the content is yet somewhere available outside of the system. So if I don't like the results, I can scrap the whole session and that was it, right? But otherwise, I have to push it out. I can first look at the code changes that were done. So in the first place, we see here our style CSS, which has the style change for the button color, obviously, and I think down here it probably is the border changes. Yeah. So, oh no, it's also the text color of the button. So this is a change that the system did to make the buttons black and white. And then we have the hero trends that it generated. It's still busy in the background, but it already has the the JavaScript for the block. Here it's also documented. It has the byline, the image, the heading, the CTA text, the button text, and the CSS that it generates for it. So that's all here. And all that's left is that I have to basically push it out to create a new PR, It's going to do that hopefully here. And then I can go, view that PR. And that's obviously helpful because now you want a developer to check if that's okay. But also, as you can see here, the great thing is it's an EDS website, right? So that branch is directly deployed. So we can now directly go and preview the whole result in the real environment. And that for that, all I need to do is to also upload the content. Again, here, this would be all the content files that we have right now in this workspace. We don't need all of them. Let's just take the example page, the new landing page that we created, upload that one to AEM. Yep, there it is. So if we go now here, you can find it in our repository. Go to drafts. It was the San Francisco Sportline demo, I think, that we had. Yep, there we go. That's the content that we generated. It's all here. So what's left is I basically have to go and say, okay, let's preview that. And then hopefully, yep, we end up with our new landing page that we created based on our guidelines in the new design system that we took over from the weekend trendsetters on this page. It doesn't yet use a Figma block. Again, we could easily follow up asking it to incorporate that now into this result. But this is roughly what we can do almost in real time here, right? Again, some of the stuff would take 5 to 10 minutes longer, so I would think, yeah, probably within half an hour you could get to this result. So we're running it a little bit short with skipping ahead, but that's the result of it. And I think with that, I'm pretty much out of time. Thanks a lot. I hope you liked it.